What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darren's Pokemon. Gonna be playing a game on PTCGO, and I'm gonna try another one with Zoroark Lucario just to get a gameplay out of this. We did a stream over the weekend, which was awesome. Had a great time with that, with the Lucario deck, just getting to show that deck off, show off what it could do, and I think it's awesome. Like, I think the card is legit, and I think that it is going to have a place in standard format for sure, and I was very impressed with what I saw from it over the weekend. So shout out to everybody who joined us on stream on Saturday. That was a great time, had a blast. It was awesome having Natalie there too, and then Matt Price at the end. And then also shout out to everybody who has who has bought stuff from the Etsy store. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I have a whole ship station set up in my apartment now and have got that up and rolling. The Etsy, if you haven't seen it yet, is in the description and you can go check that out. I got some signed cards up there. The Misty playmats. The Misty playmats are selling awesome. Those things are going, so that is great too. Let's see what we got going on here. I think what I'm going to do is just Cynthia. I might want to attach the double colorless energy just to get that out, but I think that I'm fine just playing Cynthia. Let's just Cynthia here and see what we get. I don't really feel like attaching the double colorless energy. I'd rather put it on something else, and we're just gonna pass. So this is a little bit of a bummer turn one, but it looks like we are playing against a Gardevoir GX deck, so it actually does not matter. Against any other more aggressive deck, we might be in some trouble, but there's not a lot of decks that are going to be knocking out a Mewtwo from evolutions on the first turn of the game, so we could sit pretty easy here and not feel too threatened. That is okay. Wonder if my opponent's got the energy. Yep. And then they should retreat into their Vulpix, get a turn one turn one beacon, I mean. And after the turn one beacon, we should be able to see if they have a rare candy in their hand. Judging by the fact they went Curlia, they do not. So that is good for us. Now we will just start things off with a Bridget here. We want a couple copies of Zorua, and then we also want a Lucario, I think, just since Lucario could do a good amount of damage for only one energy, which is definitely good for us since Gardevoir GX does more damage for the amount of energy that we have. So that's definitely in our favor. So let's go ahead and get these guys. Then I will attach a basic fighting energy to my Riolu, and then we're just going to pass again. Now, next turn, we are going to have a Zoroark GX. We also have Lucario, but I'm not really interested in evolving up into Lucario. I'd have to hit my one of Floatstone. Maybe if actually I could go turn to Lucario Guzma, and I actually like that. Knock out the Curlia with the double colorless energy in it, especially if my opponent's going to Beacon, which is what they are going to do. Something different about this list that I have right here, as opposed to the list that we were running over the weekend. Pretty sure that we're rocking 3 Guzma right now, which is a really big deal because Lucario loves picking off benched Pokemon. Just evolve, and then a huge damage boost to, whatever you're doing damage to with that Aura Strike, 30 plus 90, 120 damage. And then with Guzma, you can pick off Zoroark GXs, no problem. I think I'm going to trade first, trade that Lucario GX there, see if I can get anything else to continue my setup. I don't, but that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and Guzma that Curlia, and hopefully my opponent does not have knockout on my Lucario next turn. Now, I don't think they do. My opponent just beaconed for 2 more Curlias, so I'm pretty confident that they don't really have the whole Guardy situation going on right now. And judging by the fact that they threw the Vulpix back up, I think it's safe to say my opponent does not have a busted hand and are not going to be knocking out this Lucario anytime soon. So for the upcoming turn for us, we are a little bit kind of petered out because Lucario did just go ahead and do its Aura Strike. So now we don't have an effective 2 energy attack. Cyclone Kick costs 3 energy, and I'm not really trying to put 3 energy on a Lucario because that is dangerous. So what I want to do is put this Riolu down for sure. I'll trade. I think I'm going to trade that Field Blower perhaps just to get that out of my hand. So let's go ahead and do that and get a draw of 2. And we've got an Ultra Ball and a puzzle. I think I can Ultra Ball away the N in the choice band, get another Zoroark, and then attach a DCE to my bench Zoroark, something like that. So let's Ultra Ball away the N in the choice band. I'm fine with that. And then let's go get a second Zoroark GX. I don't really want to trade any of these cards in my hand, so I'm just going to put the DCE onto the benched Zoroark, I think. And then, let's see, then we're just going to play Cynthia. My opponent doesn't really have a lot of energy built up yet, but they do have one fairy energy on the bench. Curly, I know that's turning into a Gardevoir next turn. And as you can see, I kind of petered out here. Yes, as I have this one turn, it's going to be awkward. Only playing one Floatstone, didn't hit a Super Scoop Up. If I do hit the Super Scoop Up, that's like really good. And it's the reason we play these, is just to give you an option to be able to switch that Lucario out of the active position, even when he's being aggressive. So no, we did not get the Super Scoop Up this turn, but that's fine. I could just Aura Strike for 30 damage. And that is what that is. That's just a little poke. We're just going to give the Vulpix a little nudge. And actually, I don't mind it at all because it makes it so that my opponent has to either hit a Floatstone or they have to retreat, something like that. Now, my opponent does have Gallade. The Gallade is a little troublesome. We are running Mew, which could knock it out, but putting the Mew on the field is going to be a bad idea, since they're just going to be able to knock that out with any sort of Gardevoir that they have in play. So we are going to want to kind of lead the charge with Lucarios here. Mewtwo is pretty effective against Gallade. Mewtwo can definitely put a big hit in there. We got 246, 120 damage. Unfortunately, we don't quite get there because Gallade has a massive 150 hit points. So I wonder who my opponent is going to go in with to attack. Oh, they're paralleling me. This really hurts. So I think that I have to... Oh my goodness, I do not want to get rid of any of these Pokemon. I think I'm going to get rid of the Mewtwo, and then I think I'm going to get rid of my Zorua as well, and just keep the option for a Lucario next turn alive. I really don't like that. That hurts a lot. But my opponent does not have the attack, so that is fine. Let's see. I ditched my one copy of Lucario, so I do need double puzzle in order to get the Lucario back. That, or I could potentially get a Super Scoop Up and then Guzma to hit into that Gardevoir GX there over on my opponent's side of the field. Alternatively, I can also knock out the Octillery, which could be good for me too, but I'm definitely in the hunt for a Field Blower as well. Let's start off by trading away. I don't really have any of the pieces that I want, but I do have at a strong energy choice band. I could knock out a Lele this next turn with a Lucario if I do get into a double puzzle or a rescue stretcher. So let's trade away the Evo Soda, get that out of here, draw 2 cards. We got a Field Blower, that's fantastic. I could also trade away this Ultra Ball here and see what that nets me. So let's do that. And we've got ourselves a Lele and a Super Scoop Up. So here's the Super Scoop Up. Let's see if it does what it's supposed to do here. Do we got a heads? We've got a heads. All right. Super Scoop Up is doing its thing. So let's pick up the Lucario GX. And we're going to put Zoroark into the active position. And you guys can see this is why we're playing that card. Without that card, we didn't have the option. Granted, maybe I could have played just a second copy of Lucario GX. But the whole idea is that we're resetting our guys here. Let's Field Blower as well. Get that Stadium out of there. That is good. We could put another copy of Riolu down. And now that I have this Lucario evolved, I can actually go here, and then Guzma, and I could knock out a Lele, or I could just hit into the Gardevoir GX. I feel like hitting into the Gardevoir GX is the safe play, just doing as much damage as I can to that thing. Then if my opponent knocks me out, then I'm not like in a world of pain. I think that I have to hit into the Gardevoir. So let's bring that thing up. And then we are just going to smack into this thing for as much damage as we can with Aura Strike. If my opponent misses the knockout on my Lucario GX next turn, then I can cantankerous beatdown on an opponent's, maybe their bench Gardevoir, something like that. Maybe if I can get my hands on a double puzzle or just Lele for my third Guzma, something like that, I can attach an energy and cantankerous beatdown in order to pull off a huge amount of damage. So Lucario GX is definitely showing its stuff off here and is, in full force. And I'm definitely impressed with this card and how well it's been performing alongside Zoroark. I definitely think that Lucario with Zoroark kind of feels like the best way to play it right now, since you do want to draw into a lot of cards to complete the card combinations that you need. You want to draw into cards that pick up Lucario, Acerola, Super Scoop Up, maybe even if you play Devolution Spray, which I'm not a super big fan of, but you could play Devolution Spray as well. I think that's important to be able to draw into those, or like your Rescue Stretcher, something like that. These are all things that you're going to want to see. Also, your Strong Energies, your Guzmas, definitely cards that you're going to want to run into. Now, what is my opponent doing? I think that their board position's a little bit weakened by the amount of non-Gardevoir GX Pokemon that they have in play. They have a Gallade out. The Gallade, yes, is an automatic one-hit KO on a Zoroark. That would be a huge pain. But it's not a Gardevoir GX. And they have it here 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Yes, they ended up getting it. So this is really good that I went in and hit them with the Lucario, because they were going to be able to take a one-hit knockout the following turn, and I wanted to be able to do that. So I wanted to be able to clear the field. I would ideally like to go get a Lucario to knock this thing out, so I'm going to promote the Riolu just in case that is an option. Then I can always retreat into Zoroark to get the knockout if I absolutely have to. So let's see here. I'm going to trade first. So let's start out by trading. I think we trade away a basic fighting. I'm fine with that. Or I could Cynthia and then trade a couple times. That actually sounds a little bit better. I think I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to bench. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 80 damage. I actually don't need to bench the Lele in order to knock this thing out. I only need to do 50 more damage. So the 80, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 will get there. So let's just go ahead and Cynthia. I think I Cynthia. I don't think I N or anything. So let's just go ahead and do that. We need to knock out this Gardevoir. That is non-negotiable. So what do we really want? We really want double puzzle, and I think I have not played any puzzles yet. So you would think that maybe I had a decent shot of getting them, but I mean, who knows? I could Ultra Ball away the Bridget and the Lele. I kind of like that. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves another Zorua, I think. And let's see, I have 3 puzzles in deck. That seems fine. Okay. So let's get ourselves a Zorua. That thins my deck a little bit. I do like that. And then I can trade away a basic fighting and see if I can get my hands on 2 puzzles. Thin my card from my deck from 19 cards to 18 cards before I do this. I have a Float Stone, so that's good at least. Now let's trade away one more time. See if I maybe get that Ultra Ball, I think is the card to hit off of that. Though the Ultra Ball could help me to get another Zoroark into play next turn, and that would be really good. Though I think next turn, if my opponent, they're definitely going to knock out this Zoroark, I'm going to want an end. So I think I do hit that Ultra Ball there, and it has to be double puzzle if I get it. So I don't get the double puzzle, and then I don't think I want to foolishly put my Mew out there. Though, yep, there's no really reason to do that. Let's just go ahead and do this and then retreat into our Zoroark. And we are unfortunately sending the Zoroark out to the slaughter. I could not get my Mewtwo or anything like that. Could not get my double puzzle in order to knock this out with Mewtwo. I think knocking it out with Mewtwo is like the ideal scenario there, obviously, just because I throw a non-EX, non-GX Pokemon out there, and then my opponent has to stay on an even prize trade. Giving them this Zoroark is a horrible thing for me. I really don't want to do that, but it feels like it's the only option, and it definitely was the only option. I had to clear that Gardevoir. That thing would have been able to run over my whole squad had I not done that. So we may get ourselves into a situation where we have to end, and then maybe, I don't know, detect. That seems bad. Then field blowing that floatstone is bad. Just a lot of bad stuff going on right now. I could jab this Gallade with a Riolu, force the odd prize and end, and just say, hey, I hope you don't get Guzma for game. Like, that is a thing. And then if I do jab the Gallade and then the Gallade knocks me out, then I could potentially then go in with a Lucario and then finish off the Gallade the following turn. But since my opponent, they've kind of got their setup under control, this is a little bit rough. And they're going to end me, which is a good play. They know that I have a pretty sizable hand over here, and they know that they're about to knock out a Zoroark GX, so I'm only going to have one of them in play. I guess I could have gone, to knock out, could I have jabbed that? I guess I could have potentially, if I had gotten it, I could have jabbed that. I didn't even think of this before, but I could have actually jabbed that Gardevoir for knockout had I gotten strong energy on a Riolu and then also a choice band. But I think, I would have had to draw into both my choice bands are down. I would have had to draw into double puzzle in order to get that. So maybe this deck needs a Mallow. I actually am thinking that this list absolutely needs a Mallow. There's really no question about it. Now, I have to imagine that my opponent just has Guzma for game, so that's like a little bit depressing, especially since I don't think that they've played a single Guzma. So there's definitely the odds are that they are just sitting on it, which case I could knock this thing out with Mew. That feels bad, but what more could we do? I don't think that there's any way that I knock this thing out without I just don't think there's any way I knock this thing out without using Mew, and I don't really think that that's a valid option. So let's see what we do here. I could trade away the Sycamore there, see if I could get myself maybe another puzzle, and I can't get myself another puzzle. I do get an N though, so maybe I can detect, and then if I detect, I'm definitely out here in a bad situation, don't get me wrong, but maybe I can detect and keep my opponent from winning the game. And then that, or I jab. I think I jab, and then I put the strong energy on my bench Riolu. I think that's probably the case, the only route that I have of winning here. And then I think we could see if I could super scoop up the Zoroark and get another trade out of this thing, potentially this turn, or I just end and hope I hit into another. I think I'll just end and hope I hit into another Zoroark. Let's just do that. Okay, so we end, and we did not get another Zoroark, so maybe I should have tried to rip that super scoop up. But if we jab here, I don't think I need to jab. Actually, I could go double strong energy. That would do 120, only 140. I actually need to jab. Yeah, I need to jab, and then next turn I need to do the aura whatever for enough. All right, so let's jab. Bringing that thing down to 140 hit points means that I do have the option to go Lucario GX next turn. And they've just got Guzma for game. So unfortunate there. That is a rough matchup. They didn't even need the Octillery. They just had Guzma Fairy in hand. So good game to my opponent. That is not the best matchup for us there. Gallade is unfortunately just a really, really good Zoroark killer, and Lucario seems to fare best against other Zoroark decks, and there's just not a lot that I could have done in order to trade favorably there, just with the big one-hit knockouts that Gardevoir could dish out once that deck gets set up, and then also the Gallade just being able to hammer in my Zoroarks like that and not having the Mewtwo when I needed it. Or just any non-EX, non-GX to knock out that Gardevoir that turn I needed it was really tough. So anyways, gonna go ahead and show off the list real quick so you guys could see the list that I'm working with here for Lucario Zoroark. Thank you all to everybody who showed up on the stream again. That was an awesome time. Had a great time with that. Thank you to everybody who has supported me by, shopping at the Etsy shop. I have that in the description below. Awesome. It has been fantastic, and I'm really excited about that going forward. It's awesome having my own shipping station set up, the printer, all that, just like it's like really cool. And then like all the packaging supplies is literally like all right here. You guys can't see it, but it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty stoked on it. So this is the list. Thank you again to everybody who's watching the video. Shout out to all you guys. You guys are awesome, and it's late and I'm tired, and I think because we lost an hour last night. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Peace.